Let's begin.
Listen carefully.
Let's begin.
What's up? What's up? Welcome back to what is episode 6, I think, of the Politicks Podcast here, joined by fellow Lions, Brian McWilliams and Lou Perez.
Yo.
Brian Nichols, I don't know. He might pop in, might pop out. I don't know. We'll find out soon. But how you guys doing? What's new?
Well, just living life, fixing my plumbing. Had a guy here to put a new bladder on my pipes. I didn't know pipes needed bladders, but apparently, much like the male genitalia and functioning for our urinary systems, a house is the same. So I had to have a bigger bladder installed.
Sounds like you just got scammed, but yeah.
He was like, I need to put the balloon on, the balloon. Yeah, it just looks like a propane tank now on my pipes outside my house. So that was fun. That was $800 of fun.
Oh, $800. Wow. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm waiting for rain to come in my section of the country. I'm in New Jersey, and there's been plenty of places that have been flooded. I've looked over across the border into Manhattan. I'm sure people have seen all the footage of the subways underwater. People in subway cars with all that flooding. It's wild. When I lived in New York for so long, but I never got caught in a storm like that while on the subway. Like, if anything was really bad, I would walk by, you'd walk by one of the stations and it'd be flooded. And it's like, okay, I'm not going in there. There's no reason to do that. But yeah, so I don't know what's going on. So.
Well, I mean, is it something where I remember there used to be a ride at Universal Studios that was like earthquake or something like that, and you were on a bus or a subway as part of the ride because it was like a tram ride, and you had a subway scene where it flooded and the wall of water would come down just like in the movies. So these people are basically, they should be happy. They're living a motion picture lifestyle. They get to swim among the rats. Can bubonic plague spread through water? That's what I want to know. Is the plague possible? Is it if a rat swims up your asshole like the Kangaroo fish? Will you get the bubonic?
I guess we'll find out. I don't know.
Yeah, if Mr. Brian Nichols
Precise.
joins us, perhaps he will have that information.
He's frantically Googling it. We text him before the show.
Yeah.
Important to look up.
But the rain is absolutely insane. Like, seems like every part of the country is just getting inundated with rain every single day. In LA, is it raining? I assume. No, it's
okay.
Dry
as a
the
bone.
one place where it's not raining. LA.
Yep,
it'll be on fire soon, I'm sure. So,
well, I was in Florida where I was visiting my parents, and they had gotten so much heavy rain that the whole bay, like the Gulf of the Gulf of America, and it was just disgusting murk because all the water had rushed in there, and just all the silt had bubbled up, and just it was crazy. Yeah.
I just watched that Netflix documentary about the Carnival Cruise, the poop ship.
It's a great
cruise.
doc.
Yeah. Those are that whole train wreck series. They have some bangers on that. Yeah, and
They do.
So let's take a quick poll on the poop cruise. So if you're on a cruise and they say you can only poop, you got to poop in a bag. You can't poop in a toilet. Does anyone else? I don't really have a problem pooping in a bag. Like I would do that before trudging through sewage to try to find a.
John, I'm with you. I'm with you 100% on that because my wife and I were watching, and I was like, "Oh, that's not that bad. What? Just you shit in a bag," and they were maybe like, "Oh, we don't know what to do with this." Like, you have an entire ocean,
right? Yes.
Dump that shit, like literally, like dump that shit overboard. And and that's it. Yeah, they had like the one of the survivors, the guy with the glasses.
Did they get to wear a brown ribbon or put a brown ribbon on their Facebook page?
I think so. he was like, he seemed like he was an actor. And not that he was acting, but he told the story so well. He seems like a guy who, you know, has like a career in acting or improv comedy or something like that. And his whole angle was like, he's on this ship with his future father-in-law, and I gotta poop in a bag. What? And it's like, it's not that crazy, you know, to do that.
Yeah. It's like, not to, you know, this is a terrible comparison, but people will lose children, which is terrible, right? Speaking of flooding. And then they won't, like couples will break up because of that. Because they're like, oh, when I look at you, I see my kid, right? And that's very sad. When these people are married now, when they look at each other, are they just going to see rivers of human feces? And is that going to break their marriage up?
I don't, you know, you go through, I mean, you definitely go through stuff. I dated a woman, we lived together, and it was a time, like we did a little bit of renovation on the apartment, and we lived together for a while before getting doors. So there was no door on the bathroom. So, and it was a 1-bedroom apartment, you know, so, you know, you could catch a glimpse of, you know, who knows what was happening.
You could have put sheets up, you know, that you don't need. I mean, I'm just a quick.
Dude, you know what? You know what? I think if it was a relationship that was meant to last, we would have figured out. The universe would have given us the idea to put sheets up, but it wasn't meant to be. Well, where's the talking to shitting in bags? You guys, any weird places you guys have taken dumps? Like,
don't get me started.
Sure, Brian could write a book.
Brian's he's a Philadelphia Eagles fan. I'm sure there's quite a few things this guy's done
with a bad digestive tract. Yeah, go ahead, Odie. You could go first, and I'll tell my finest story.
And my stories aren't going to compare to Brian's, but I mean, but probably the worst one I ever had. I forget where I was coming from, but it was some kind of trip. It was a solo trip, and I was driving on the highway, and it was one of those times where you know in your mind that you don't, like, even if you made it to a gas station, you wouldn't be able to physically make the walk from your car into the gas station. So I knew I could, just sitting there driving, I knew that I could hold it to get off to the side of the road, but just getting off at an exit and driving. No, I forget even what state I was in. I think it was in West Virginia. But just getting to an area remotely where there weren't houses around, and just letting it go, man. And I lost a pair of shorts on that round there, but
that's
you know, it made it out alive.
Yeah, I was. Okay. Yeah.
Well, all right. So real quick, I was of the many times I've had to crap in different places. My favorite is I was at a party, and it was at a small apartment party here in LA. And I was like, you know, I feel like I had to take a dump. And I had one little bathroom, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to drive home. But this apartment was in the section of town called Mid-Wilshire. And it's all like big high-rise apartments and big high-rise buildings and houses. And there's nothing like a gas station or a McDonald's or anywhere to stop. So I walked to my car, and as I'm walking to my car, I'm like, this is more than just a poop. This is an emergency poop. And I keep hitting lights. I get in my car, and I'm like, just deep breathing. I keep hitting light after light after light, and there's nowhere to stop and nowhere to go. And I'm like, I'm going to shit my pants if I don't go somewhere. So I drove into a neighborhood. I found a house that had large bushes, and I took a shit on the side of their house, wiped my ass with a t-shirt, and then drove away.
Was this before or after Ring cameras?
This is before Ring cameras.
Thank God.
Thank goodness.
I'm not proud of that, but I was like, it had to be done. It had to be done. These poor people go out to their bush, and they're like, oh, no. And this was before homeless had overrun Los Angeles too. So they were really probably like, what?
Yeah, you changed the game. I mean, you actually made it you normalized it.
I was a trendsetter.
Yeah. When I was in high school, I had a bunch of friends over at my house in the backyard. We were like going in the pool and stuff. And a number of us went around the corner to get pizza. And we came back with I came back with a pizza box, for the guys, and they thought, oh, this is so nice. Lou, bought us like a pie, and then they opened it, and it was one of my turds that's in the pizza box. So it was funny to deliver a box of shit, but then another part of me was like, it was such a tiny turd. It was like almost pathetic, It was like the joke, and I wonder, is the joke as good because it wasn't that much?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's funnier if it's just a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a reminder that anything's possible in this world.
That's all you got, Lou. You trying to deliver us shit and just a little turd. Come on, man.
And that's where his nickname, Little Lou Perez, was first.
Perez. Yeah. Little turd. If I was more native, my name would be Little Turd.
Un poquito pupito.
Yeah, little turd shit. What shit in pizza box?
Yeah, that's your Native American name.
Yeah. I'm sure somebody's done a bit like that. Someone must have done a bit like that. Like, what would modern native names be? Like,
oh yeah,
rides Uber, or something like that.
Well, the problem is you'd have so many, kind of like, my name's Brian, and I'm Brian. My sister's name is Jenny, not Jennifer, but everybody was named Brian or Jennifer at one point in time. And similarly, I think you'd have a problem with the Native American naming in today's culture for women, because every girl's name would be Scroll's phone all the time, or little phone Scroll. That would be it. Every woman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty much. Speaking of women, how about the Statue of Liberty? Huh? How about that
Still
transition?
hot.
Hey, ladies. Yeah.
Still hot.
So they're talking. I didn't know about this until you brought it up, Lou. Apparently, there's like a movement to clean it.
Yeah, I don't know how big of a movement it is, or if it was just one guy with one tweet, and that tweet went well. But I think a lot of people forget that it's copper. It's copper under there, and I guess the copper has been oxidized over all these years, and it's turned green. And some guy proposed, cleaning it up and making it look like a spiffy penny, and a lot of people are, weighing in on whether that should happen. And I made the joke that, French chicks don't bathe, so it wouldn't be right to do this.
It wouldn't. I agree. I think people are so stupid that if they did, in fact, clean it, everybody would think that it was vandalized or something. Like, people would have because it's iconic as the green color from being oxidized. So it would ruin it. At this point, it would ruin the entire look of the statue. You'd have all the people in Times Square that sell those stupid tchotchkes would go out of business, especially with the tariffs on China now, trying to get new statues in that were gold. Meanwhile, well, maybe they could adopt the ones in, the people in Hollywood that sell the crappy Oscar statues could just drape gold LeMay on top of them, I guess, and make new Statue of Liberties.
I mean, I think it's a interesting idea. Probably would cost a ton of money that New York City doesn't have. I guess, would they be the ones paying for it? Where would the money come from? I don't know. Come out of thin air. But it got me thinking, like, how long would it even last for? Because I think copper oxidizes pretty quickly. And quick
Especially
Google
next to the saltwater ocean, I would imagine probably speeds things up a bit.
And what about like 5 to 30 years, it would be back to where it was. So
didn't they know this too? Like, when the French made this, gift, didn't they know, like, oh man, we should have picked something else?
I don't know. The French, maybe they were bigger. I mean, they had a reputation as being cunts. Maybe they were like, oh, they go to display it. It's going to be a big, stupid green lady in no time.
Viva go! Oh God, I can't even do a fucking French accent. I think you ruined it for me. No, but it's like they were gonna. The French were originally going to shit in a pizza box. And they're like, oh, this is a much better. We play the long game.
Hold on, Francois. Remember,
stupid Americans know nothing about oxidation.
They know nothing of copper.
What's next, Odie? What's next?
Yeah, we got there's a picture of Jennifer Love Hewitt. Back, was it 20 years ago, 30 years ago? She was a teenage heartthrob, and
I saw her up close, by the way. at a deli in Los Angeles, and she was looking pretty toit at the time.
Whoa.
How long ago was that?
20 years. Easily 20 years ago.
As I navigate this, Firefox. Yeah, I'm using Firefox. I don't even know if I can share. Like, this
I
is
know. I
ridiculous.
can't either. So we'll describe her. She's looking bulkier. As I joked, she looks like she's coming out for the remake of I Know What You Did Last Summer, right? I think it's called the exact same thing. And she's on the red carpet. I had joked that it looks like she is on the carpet for a movie called I Know What Buffet You Ate At Last Summer. But people are saying that she looks good, that people like the body type. I mean, the face is still pretty. It's not my type of body type. I'll say that. I like him lean and busty. But, you know, she still looks fine. Good for her. Good for Jennifer Love Hewitt for getting out there. Jennifer Love Hewitt, by the way, who also dated a man who I've spent a couple different times hanging out with. One, Jamie, what's crazy redhead Jamie, the comedian's name, who used to be on, he was like the Fresh Prince of Malibu.
Jamie Kennedy?
Jamie Kennedy. That's his.
Oh, yeah.
Jamie Kennedy dated Jennifer Love Hewitt for like years, which is crazy to think about. Yeah, isn't that insane?
Wow. Well, I described it. I saw that picture, and I described it as Jennifer More to Love Hewitt.
Oh, there you go. That's a kind way of being mean.
No, but I mean, I think she's still an attractive woman. Look, she's 46 years old. She's, I think, a mother of 3. I think her last child was born, you know, just like a few years ago. And, you know, we get older, you know, women age and our bodies, you know, women and men, our bodies change and all that. But something that I found is, and other people have been pointing this out online too. It's like the dudes in particular who weigh in, you know, and talk about like, you know, Sydney Sweeney being mid and stuff, yeah. and all that. You know, for one, they're insane. Obviously, Sydney Sweeney's a beautiful woman. Jennifer Love Hewitt was a beautiful woman. I think is still a beautiful woman. But I think so much of it seems like human interaction for a lot of men just takes place in this 2-dimensional reality where they're just looking at pictures of women, yeah. You know, and like, we're all married. We've been in, you know, relationships. We have kids. We're getting older. And what I find, you know, just so glaring is like it seems like the lack of understanding or experience with what like a relationship is and what physical contact is like, because, you know, there are, you know, women I've been with in the past who, you know, if you looked at a picture, you might call her mid, right? It's like, well, that's just one element of this woman. You know, there's also, how does she feel? How does she smell? How do you connect? You know, there's this whole, this whole swath. Like, you know, do you compliment each other? Like, how's the sex? Do you love, you know, fucking each other and all that? And it's just like, you have all that's like thrown out based on, oh man, like there's a picture of there's a little bit of a fupa there, like, oh, thumbs down.
Well, it's also, you know, like you said, this, you know, Jennifer Love Hewitt hasn't acted really full-time for a long time. What I always used to get annoyed by was people that professionally were hot. Oh, that was it. That was their job. You're professionally hot. So when you let yourself go, we're allowed to be like, hey, chunk, hit the treadmill because you have no other talents you're bringing to the table here. Mm-hmm. Jennifer Love Hewitt's been a mom. Like, it's not like her job is not to be hot anymore. Her job is to be like a mom, and now she's got time to act again. Great for her. But, you know, it is something to consider as well when taking these things into account. But to your point, and I was just laughing to myself because you're saying, like, you know, she's a mid, but is she hot? How does she smell? I mean, I do like, well, she's a 9, but she's a mid for smells. Like,
well, you might meet a chick who stinks, man. I had a buddy.
Yeah, no, they're out there.
I had a buddy of mine He was in this fucked up relationship with this girl. She was a very pretty girl, and he's like, dude, her feet stink, like stink, like like a French cheese, like a real strong cheese. And then they had such a fucked up toxic relationship where after a while that started to be a turn on for him. Like he wanted like some stinky feet. He wanted that stinky feet in his life, man. Yeah, it was fucking so it can get, it can go that way. But what I find funny is that, so many of the guys, it seems like, who are talking about like Jennifer Love Hewitt, having gained weight and all that, they often talk about women hitting a wall, right? Mm-hmm. And then the same dudes who talk about women hitting a wall often talk about how you need to like find a partner and get married and all this stuff. And it's like, well, dudes, if you have a wife and you love her, at some point, both of you guys you're both gonna hit a fucking wall. Sometimes, you have some people who are freaks, like, like what's it called? Like a Salma Hayek, like she's a mutant.
Tim McGraw, Faith Hill.
They're mutants. Yeah. Like they're, they look incredible, and who knows what, deals they've made to look that way. But at some point, like the mother of your child is no longer going to look like the girl you met when she was 23, and it's like, how are you going to handle that? Are you going to handle it like, like a mature person? So I don't know.
It's a serious problem, I think, in the, dating life for young people today, because they're so luckily like coming up in the dating scene, in my 20s and 30s, there was no Tinder. There was no like just looking at a pictures, yes or no. Today, that's all it is. Like
too. Endless pictures, Odie. Remember that? That's
endless pictures. Yeah. And plus, like a lot of men and women are addicted to porn. So their whole like view of the world is like off skew, like based on watching porn every day and thinking like that's how sex is supposed to be. They think that's the reality of it. So it's all upside down. I mean, but when it comes back to Jennifer Love Hewitt, like you guys said, I really don't. She can do what she wants to. She's a mother. She's living her best life. That's good for her. I'm just glad she's clearly not on Ozempic, because that's bad for your gut health, man. It's bad.
Yeah, amen. Well, also Pamela Anderson was out there not looking like a surgeried freak, which is nice to see. And compared to like, I saw one, it was like, Jennifer Love Hewitt, or not Jennifer Love Hewitt, Pam Anderson on one side, and then Chrissy Teigen, who I hate Chrissy Teigen.
Does anybody like Chrissy Teigen? I don't think so.
She was held up for whatever reason by whatever crowd, the woke crowd, forever as like some sort of super funny, super hot model. I'm like, she is a pumpkin-headed goon who has gotten so much surgery now that she's got lumps and bumps sticking out like a fairy tale pumpkin. And she apparently is a giant piece of shit too. So I can't stand her, but age naturally. It's okay. Get a little preventive Botox if you want, but stay away from the duck lips and the surgeries and the Ozempic and all that shit. Stay away from it.
Yeah, I'd say quit shooting stuff into your face. Just
someone else's face.
Yeah. Well, we know what you mean by that. You had a nice visit, and you have a new bladder right now that you could work with.
Never forget.
Well, I think something that I find like on on like Instagram in particular, where you have like a lot of these like influencers who are like health and fitness influencers who, and I'm talking about the women who like now is there's never been a better time to be like a butterface, right? You have women who back when we were younger would have been a butterface, like, oh, her body's amazing, butterface. And now like the way that people work out, it's like it's you have a real opportunity there.
Yeah, but and also you could be a nutter face where you have a terrible body and just show photos of your head.
Right. You could do that. But the thing, what I wanted to talk about is like, you have these women who they put all this time and energy into their bodies, whether it's their exercise regime, their diet, and then they seem to go to like a budget fucking plastic surgeon to fuck with their face, to like pump stuff into their lips and stuff. And it's like, just be like, just be, just allow yourself to be. Cause something always happens too, where it's like, now there are women who I can't tell if they're 23 or 53. they have
Mhm.
just that same, like,
Yeah.
not all of them are as bad as the Chrissy Teigen's pumpkin head, as you, that jack-o'-lantern thing going on top of her neck. But,
Well,
And
here's a
women-
question.
And women
Oh, sorry,
aren't
go ahead.
doing this for men, because I
Yeah.
have yet to meet a man
Yeah.
who's like, oh, I love those huge, ridiculous looking duck lips. They're doing it for other women. It's insane. It's totally insane.
Yeah. Well, here's a perfect segue, because one of the other things we'll talk about before we get into some of the more political stuff is the CEO of what is it? Astronomy? Astronomer, which apparently is a valuation of like $1.3 billion, gets caught
Not
on
anymore.
the Kiss Cam. Yeah. Gets caught on the Kiss Cam at a Coldplay concert in Boston, and with the head of HR at his company, which is hilarious. And you have to wonder, is he there because his wife destroyed her face with Botox and injections, or is he just a scumbag? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts of the whole thing? Excellent.
All I saw was the embrace. I have no idea the context. I thought the embrace looked really nice. It looked like they were having a good time. I don't know what song was playing, but I'm sure it was one of the hits. I don't know. I don't know anything about it. I'm just going to go on believing that it was a really nice date from two people who love each other, and we should all, try to be more like that.
I mean, cheating on our spouses? Because
is that what happened?
Yeah,
Oh.
he's definitely married. The CEO is married, and I don't know if the HR.
I think they
chick is
both
or not.
are.
Yeah.
I'll explain the clip for people who haven't seen it, since we can't show it here, but who cares, because most people listen to the audio anyway. So you have a Coldplay concert. They're doing the Kiss Cam, and you have the CEO of Astronomer has his arms just around this lady in front of him. And as soon as they settle on them with the Kiss Cam, if they would have done nothing or just like a little kiss, they just would have moved on to the next. It wouldn't have gone viral, wouldn't have ruined their lives probably. Unless somebody maybe in the audience could have seen it who knew them, and I guess it could have then. But definitely, as soon as it happened, the guy crouches down and hides, and the woman like dives off to the side. But the funniest part was, I don't know if they were in like a box seats or whatever with other people they work with or random people, because after they dive out of the way, these other people are coming to the screen like, yeah. Like, I'm like, are these their coworkers like cheering on an affair? What's actually happening here?
Is it possible, you have a lot of couples that they grow apart, or like, one isn't there for them emotionally, another one isn't there, them physically. Could it be that, their partners, they're just didn't like Coldplay, and that, and that's the thing, like they weren't able to satisfy the Coldplay in their relationship, so then that's what made them go seek each other out? It
could be. It very well could be.
Could have been. If it was Nickelback, I'd be with you. But Coldplay,
Yeah.
I don't know.
But isn't it pretty? It is kind of gross though that the amount of people who are jumping on this and just resharing it, like just sharing the pictures, shit. Like I think the amount of people
I did send it to my wife. I didn't repost it, but I sent the video to her because she's going out of town tonight, and I'm like, to the Hamptons with her girlfriends. I'm like, I better not see you on the fucking Kiss Cam going viral, Sandy. So I said that was my reason, but I didn't retweet it.
But like I heard there were a number of people were sending this like directly to the guy's wife or the woman's husband, and I mean that
didn't even know her. That just like looked up her contact. Yeah, that's coming. That's doxing kind of shit. It's like you don't need to fuck with people's lives to that extent.
But like I guess another part of it is like you're the CEO of a company. How do you get so comfortable that you think you can go out in public with the woman you're having an affair with, who's your head of HR, even if they were like by themselves and not with any other coworkers, or like, that's just so stupid. Like smart people, really smart people can just be so incredibly stupid.
This is a little off topic, but speaking of smart people who could be incredibly stupid, the other day I got into a little ex beef with this guy So I had posted something like the European mind can't comprehend. And then I put a picture of the First Amendment. And this guy, like a venture capitalist from like Australia, who's obviously loaded, he started saying like, you don't have free speech in America. And one thing that he said was, he said, one of his arguments was, quote, anything you say can and will be held against you in a court of law. And I was like, do you seriously think that has to do with the First Amendment? So it was the dumbest interaction I think I've had with what is ostensibly a successful, smart person in a long time. And thank God I took screenshots of that conversation, because he blocked me and then deleted every comment. So at some point, for you guys listening into the politics, maybe that'll be that'll come out. I'll put that together for you guys to enjoy.
Please do. Well, it's so many people are siloed in what their intelligence is in regards to.
Yeah.
Right. That's really, I think, what's paramount. It's like that old thing, with and I always forget the name of it, but where you read the newspaper and it's got the article on something about, and the article's totally wrong. And you go, this is bullshit. This writer's an idiot. They doesn't know what he's talking about. And then you turn the page against and something you don't know about, and you read it and you don't question anything in the article. Similarly, people are so siloed. This guy, whatever, good at fintech, terrible at basic logic.
Yeah. And that's, you just described the Gell-Mann amnesia.
Thank you. There you go.
There
All
you
right,
have
next
it.
topic, Odie.
The Gell-Mann amnesia. Didn't know about that.
Gell-Mann. Oh!
So I guess the next two are kind of tied together, having to do with some funding cuts that it looks like they're actually happening with PBS and I think NPR, both being defunded, and then finally the ending of the Department of Education that came through from the Supreme Court, right? That was this past week, wasn't it?
Well, the DOE is still alive, but it's been halved. So they fired 1,400 employees.
Whoa.
There are still 1,400 left, which
Wow.
On my show yesterday, I was raging about this because I'm like, what can you tell me what the fuck that many people are possibly doing for the Department of Education? They employed 80 publicists at the Department of Education. For what? To do what? How? I mean, it's insane. This is like the problem with all of the education industry. The bureaucrats, between bureaucrats, people hiring people to do their jobs and make their jobs easier, while people can bitch about teachers, and I agree, maybe teachers should get paid more. Sure. They're not hiring teachers. They're hiring bureaucrats, and the DOE is a perfect example of this. And I love the photos because all these media outlets are like, oh my God, no, they're firing the State Department people and the Department of Education. And you get to see these people do the walk of shame home. Carry your crap out. I love it. Walk of shame.
I'll just a note on that, because I've worked in corporate America for 16 years, maybe 18 years, something like that. But I was laid off twice, very different parts of my career. But when you get laid off, and there were many other times when, the company I was with went through a reorg and you stayed, right? And, after that happens, there's a meeting afterwards, and maybe they, change the name of your organization, or you have a new leader or whatever, something stupid changes. And everybody who's there, you immediately forget about everybody who was let go. It's like you just move forward. There's not like a session where like people say, oh, Susie and Jimmy, we lost them. It's so sad. You just don't talk about them. You just move forward. So it's just so crazy to me to see, like, I'm not even saying that's good. That's just the way it is in corporate America. It's just so weird to see just this complete opposite of it in the government, where it's this public view of people crying in the street and hugs. And it's like two totally separate worlds. And a lot of people have said, like Elon Musk has said, I hope people go from, those jobs at the State Department or, Department of Education, and they thrive in the private sector. That's not going to happen.
No.
That's not going to happen.
Were these the same cuts where people were leaving like signs up all around the offices? There was There was
That
one
was the State Department, I think.
So what's so funny is the State Department were leaving signs written in like crayon, like children, as if like it was almost like children stuck in like in a building that was going to burn down, and they wanted their their parents to know how they felt, so they wrote it in crayon. So that happened in the State Department, but not the Department of Education. That I would.
Well, the Department of Education didn't even. Those people don't even know how to write.
They don't even know how to write.
They're in the DOE after all. So many misspellings. You can't have those posters up on the walls.
Well, it's with defunding like NPR and PBS. I mean, this has been like a rallying call for the right for seems like decades, and it never comes to fruition. But now seems like the time, right?
Yeah, I mean it's awesome to see. Number one, because and I'm as somebody that even in my relationship with the media here as a publicist, I hate to see media outlets die and shrink because it makes my life infinitely harder. And I do think there's a need for journalism. And in a perfect world, you could go, okay, well, maybe you could have a state apparatus here to keep the government honest, but we know that doesn't happen. And as of late, it's become socialist, politique or apparatchik talk. And I actually pulled up Senator Eric Schmidt, who had voted to defund it, had pulled up some of these quotes. And he goes, here's the CEO of NPR. Our tax dollars should not be paying her salary. I agree. And of course, they removed the taxpayer funding. Let me read off some of these quotes from her. White silence is complicity. If you are white, today is a day to start a conversation in your community. Today, like every single day, is another great day to follow more black women, as well as all people of color. I mean, they just keep going on. I'll keep going. I mean, sure, looting is counterproductive, but it's hard to be mad about protests not prioritizing the private property of a system of oppression founded on treating people's ancestors as private property. And this was my favorite. Lots of jokes about leaving the United States, and I get it. But as someone with cis white mobility privilege, I'm thinking I'm staying and investing in ridding ourselves of this specter of tyranny. Lou, as someone with cis mixed background Puerto Rican mobility privilege.
Oh, I wish I was Puerto Rican, man. I wish I had that Puerto Rican privilege. That'd be great. I was just on my stationary bike, so yeah, I have that
your privilege.
I have that privilege there.
And John is always posting about his cis white mobility privilege on Facebook, talking about weight loss. I've seen that.
Have we ever
crowing about it?
Has NPR ever done any surveys about what happens when white people insist on following black women and forcing these awkward conversations about race upon black? Because I know at least women of color have monetized it. You have like Race to Dinner and that sort of thing. Yep. But yeah, I just can't imagine being just like a regular black person going about your day. You're at the bus stop and here comes an awful affluent white female liberal coming over to you just to talk about your ancestry and
tell me your lived experience.
Yeah, and your trauma, your generational trauma, and all that shit.
Yeah, I mean it is insane though that this woman is pretending that she somehow is completely to be trusted with millions of dollars in taxpayer funds, and that this is a good for the country. It's fucking ridiculous. So good to see it gone. And as I had yelled about, oh god, man.
I think it was like what Tammy Duckworth had talked about rural areas like being left in the dark with information about weather and stuff like that. It would be, I think, a stronger argument if all like PBS and NPR really did was, say like, hey, watch out, hurricanes coming. Right. This is an emergency broadcast systems. Stick with us. We'll get you through this. But as you show, they don't. That's not their function.
No, none of it.
Yeah, and I was just trying to bring up that the video from Piers Morgan where the black woman, where a black woman, not the black woman, was saying she didn't speak for all black women. It was saying that you cannot be racist to a white woman. But I tried to open up Chrome in order to open up Play It over there, since with StreamYard right now, we're having some weird issues. Peek behind the curtain with, we have to use Firefox. Otherwise, our mics and cameras don't work. But when I tried to do it, I was hearing Lou twice come through, and I started to freak out. So I gave up on it.
Yeah, StreamYard needs to get its shit together. Otherwise, we have to find a new platform. So I'm really sick of it. Sick of dealing with this crap. All right, what's the last thing? So, NPR, PBS defunded. Was there one more thing to talk about? Or did we hit them all?
Well, I think we should just give a little bit of a our thoughts on what's going on with Donald Trump right now, with regards to the Epstein files. And I think it's kind of it's interesting. We're talking about, he's doing some good things are happening, right? With Department of Education being defunded, you're having these cuts at the State Department, you're having these cuts PBS and NPR. Good things happening, I think, with Health and Human Services. What RFK Jr. is doing. Bad things happening when you look sending more arms to Ukraine and Israel bombing in another country every other day. They've now recently bombed Syria.
Yep, Damascus.
And you have Trump coming out and going hardcore, doubling down, saying, if you're one of those people who wants to see the Epstein files, then you're against. He doesn't want their support.
And they're bad people. Only very bad people. Only bad people want the Epstein files to come out, apparently. It's
crazy. What is happening? Because this seems very not normal for Trump to act in this way. Normally you can sense the direction he's going, who he's trying to influence, what he's trying to do. Right or wrong, if you like the guy or not. But this, it seems like the whole thing seems bizarre to me.
Well, it's such a schizophrenic, Donald Trump himself was calling to release the Epstein files.
Mm-hmm.
Right. For fuck's sake, he had all the influencers that are out there that are paid by him. They were stumping for release the files, but post some. And now all those people, you can tell who's paid. All those people have swung back the other way. And Donald Trump, like you're saying, attacking supporters, it doesn't make sense. And I had outlined when I did my show a very simple way that you could have gotten around this and just say, look, we have the files. We can't get in them. They're encrypted. He killed himself. He killed himself so that he would not give us the password to the files. If we do anything, the drives are going to erase. If we get to a point where we can get in there, we'll let you know. But right now, we're stuck. Sorry, we're stuck. There you go. Kick the can down the road. Makes perfect sense. Epstein's dead. The files are encrypted. We can't get in them. Move on. Rather than attacking your base and telling them you don't want their support anymore, that they're bad people for wanting it. It's if he didn't go so hard for it to begin with, maybe that would work. But the fact that he did, and there's records on it that are so easily found and very recent, with the fucking influencers waving binders around, for fuck's sake. Is there anything they don't know then, right? 3 months ago, 4 months ago, that they know now? No, they don't. They know the exact same thing. So this was all a show, and that's what makes people so sickened. You used it when it was convenient, and now, because it's either not convenient or you're trying to cover it up, well, you're going to completely go the other way. It's so hypocritical, and that's what people are disgusted by with this.
There were so many people I know who, when they voted for Trump and when he won, they went out and they bought wood chippers because they knew that once they get that list, they were finally going to be able to fire up these wood chippers and put all those pedos in there. And now those guys, they're out a lot of money because you know what? They're past warranty. They can't return it. And now that you're supposed to forget about it, who wants a wood chipper anymore? Right.
I'm going to start selling just dolls that are full of just bags of blood. People can just get their fix in. Just start chucking in the dolls, sell them for cheap, $100 a doll. You get to shred them up. You can put a picture on them if you want.
Yeah.
A 3D printed face.
Something that a number of people have brought up is, if this whole thing is a hoax, then what is what Ghislaine Maxwell doing in prison?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You got to let her out, right?
Exactly. What did Epstein kill himself for if this is all a hoax? Yeah. How did he get, if this is all a hoax, it's the most lucrative hoax for Jeffrey Epstein. If nothing else, even if there's not a giant pedophile ring, I'd still love to know how the fuck he got so rich, how he had the most expensive penthouse in Manhattan, how he got an island, how he was able to link through all these politicians, how he was able to buy his airplane to follow. There's so much here that even beyond the pedophile aspect, people want to know. and get it unpacked. And it's, yeah, exactly. It's a Russiagate hoax, just like the one. No.
And look, Epstein didn't do it. He didn't get all of his money, by joining a podcast network, right?
Yeah,
we're hoping
he was smart. He would have.
Yeah, we're hoping that maybe we can change the game, and we can get that Epstein money with our podcast network.
Get that island money. With the
we want an island. We want the Lions of Liberty Island.
The Lyland.
The Wyland. That's right.
Well, guess that's it, boys.
That's my call to action.
Yeah, let's go. Buy us an island.
To bring it all together, we want a Lions of Liberty Network island where we can get Coldplay to play.
Yep.
And we recommend guys come with their wives, no matter whether they've gained weight, lost weight. It doesn't matter. It's your wife. You love her. Hold her tight and let Coldplay take you away.
And we'll have a mini Statue of Liberty that has been polished like a penny.
Yeah, well, we'll take down the statue of Moloch that's on Epstein's Island. And don't forget, if you want to buy us that island, guys, please support us on Patreon, patreon.com/Lions of Liberty, where we do our show Meme Wars, as well as my Good Morning Fuckhead rants. We've got football season around the corner, so we'll be doing Degenerate Gamblers kicking off again very soon.
Are we bringing that back? I thought we're keeping that.
I thought we were keeping it, but we were going to do something different with it.
Okay, well, stay tuned. Stay tuned.
We're going to figure it out. Anyway, patreon.com/Lions of Liberty or lionsofliberty.locals.com.
All right. See y'all next week.
Peace.
I forget what the sign off is, but watch out for those.
They're all bloodsuckers.
They're all bloodsuckers. Watch out for those bloodsuckers.
Let's begin.
Oh yeah. Listen